Do not let anyone stress you out. Now, I also do know that sometimes stress is important in certain scenarios in order to complete a certain mission. And sometimes that allows you, it almost amplifies your actions in a way. But when the stress is coming or is conduced by fear, that is when we're not going to be able to complete the mission that we're set out on. Because what fear does for most of us is it paralyzes us. It blurs our vision. It pollutes our mind. It's almost like a parasite. Everything you do in your life is done out of fear, not because you truly love what you're doing, not because that's your purpose, not because morally it's your duty to do that. It's because you're fearful that if you don't do it, then something bad is going to happen to you. And to me, that is just my opinion, is not the best way to live. And so many people in the world, they live like this, it's sad and it's hard to watch at times. I also want to share a quick story with you. So a couple years back, as you guys know, I was a flight attendant and I lived in Dubai. I was based in Dubai, but I would travel, everywhere around the world. And I remember doing this flight and I guess, what would you call it? The SFS, which is basically the senior who was in charge of business class. At that time, I was working in business class. And I was pretty new. Yeah, I was pretty new to it. So I was trying not to make any mistakes and trying to do, the best job that I possibly could. And I remember the SFS, which is basically the person who's in charge, was stressing the shit out of everybody. Everybody was so stressed and she was just on top of us. And if there was one little mistake, she would make, a huge thing about it. And one thing that what I noticed personally and what everybody was in fear of, I guess working in that job, that atmosphere, was that if you lose your job, if you make one or two mistakes, you can lose your job and you can get deported out of that country. And so to us, just me personally, and also what I kept on hearing, was that we always had this fear of making a mistake, which is like, that's not the way you should ever live, because human beings are prone to making mistakes. If you don't want mistakes, hire robots. That's, the way to go about it. Now, I remember at the time, as I mentioned, I was super stressed and I was new. And this version of me that you're seeing today, who's a little bit, well, not a little bit, but who's confident, who speaks her truth without giving a shit what other people think about me. And this is me now. I've found myself. And maybe 10 years down the line, I'll be a little bit more vulnerable, more open. Who knows? We all evolve. Anywho's, so I was there serving this man a meal, and I don't remember exactly what happened. Maybe I made a mistake, or I was like stuttering or something along those lines, and he looked at me and he was like, "You look stressed." And I was like, "Do I?" And he said, and it was as if like an angel was talking to me or like giving me a message. And he basically was like, and he was so calm. Like I still remember his face and his energy was just so calm. And he was like, "Don't let anybody ever stress you out." And I was like, oh my, like I was like, I don't even know what I said after that, but that message was exactly what I needed in that time. And so that is my message for you today, to be honest, is, I know there's so many jobs out there where your boss is stressing you out and the world is there's always stressors anywhere you look in the world. But again, it is how you transmute that stress. What do you do with that stress? Because as I mentioned, when you're going to be fearful of every single thing in your life, it's just going to lead to making more mistakes, and you're going to be living a life in a prison. My personal opinion, if you are in an atmosphere where you constantly feel stressed or you don't feel like whatever you're doing is valued, then there's something there that needs to be looked at. And again, I'm not saying, jump in and become an entrepreneur. I mean, I I always, I'm somebody who likes to go 0 to 100, but that's just me. But the advice that I would give to you is to always look within and try to figure out, is this job truly your purpose? Is this what you're meant to be doing in this lifetime? And if it is not, doesn't mean that you you just leave. But I would recommend to figure out, what is it within you? What is your soul drawn to the most? Like for me, one of the things I love to do, and I don't think I've shared this before, but I love to write children's books. Like I love to teach children, because I do know, it's just knowing within me, I don't think I need to do any research, but I just know that in order to change the world, we need to start with children. We need to start with kids, because that is our future right there. Adults are a little bit more difficult, to change their mind. But with kids, if we're going to be sharing messages of love, spreading love, more, not going to wars and being at peace, with each other, and being able to communicate and figure out a solution that is good for both sides. Like I think that is where we need to be going. And so I do know that one of the things I love to do, apart from dancing and all those things, I also want to help children and I want to write books. And so that's just something that I shared with you that has come up for me. So what is something for you where you're like, oh, I really want to help old people? Maybe I want to spend time with them. There was one of my clients that I spoke to you guys ages ago, where I asked him, what can you do to serve? And he was with me to find love. And that's what I was helping him with. But I said, because I do believe every single human being here you're here to serve humanity in some capacity. And so figuring out what is that gift that you have. And for him, it is his humor. He's able to make people laugh. He's so warm and he's just such an amazing soul. And I'm so glad that I've done this a couple of times where I've told people, just figure out and just see, just do some research, and they come and they say, oh my God, I'm so excited. I'm going to, volunteer, and I'm going to do this, and I'm going to, help these children out, or whatever it is. And I'm like, that is the power of your voice. Like I say something and then you go help 10, 20, 100 kids. Like, do you know how that much, like the power that we have within ourselves? It's like, anyways, so moving along. If you are getting stressed at work and you know that this is not your path, then I urge you to find that out for yourself. Sit with yourself, by yourself. Go for a walk. Go for a long walk for an hour, 2 hours. Just keep walking. And I swear to you, you will get answers that you have never before. And it'll be just a little hint like, oh, maybe I should, you'll get like an idea. It'll be so random. You'll be like, why on earth would I do that? But I swear to you, it works 100% of the time. But I know that, some of us are more closed off. Some of us are more open. So it really depends on you. How open are you to receive? And I would also suggest to be open by actually saying to your angels and spirit guides that I'm open for guidance. I'm open for you to show me the way. I'm open for you to, give me a sign. And so just by being open and going for a walk, I think is going to be life-changing. And also I want to mention that when you're stressed, you can be productive. Like you cannot be in flow. That is the quickest sign that you're not in alignment with who you came here to be and with God, because God would never ask you to do something where you're stressed, and especially living day to day in fear. That's not what God wants you to do. This was my biggest lesson in my life, and I still learn this every single day, which is no one has authority over your peace unless you give it to them. So you have to willingly give your power away. Now I'm going to share some verses from the Bible because I feel like it always helps. Fear not, for I am with you. Be not dismayed, for I am your God. Peace I leave with you, my peace I give to you. Do not let your hearts be troubled, neither let them be afraid. For God has not given up a spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind. So I found that really beautiful. I wanted to share that with you guys. And that's it for me. And lastly, if you're tired of choosing people or situations that are costing you your self-respect and you're ready for a relationship or a life where you don't need to shrink in order to be chosen, then I'd like you to apply for a clarity session. The link is down below, also in my bio. I love you guys, and I'll see you guys on my next one.